To the Galaxy Men show, interview show. So for my very next guest is this incredible actress known by the name of Latanza Britts, and basically I'm about to invite Latanza into live now and have a chat with Latanza about her incredible work in the acting industry. So yeah, let's add Latanza in and have a chat with Latanza.
Good, how are
Yeah,
you?
really good, thanks. I just want to say first up, thank you so much for taking the time to join my show. It's such an incredible pleasure having you on today. To people that don't know who you are, Latanza, if you can give like a real backstory about yourself first, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me.
So welcome.
I am an actor, fighter. I've been doing this for quite a while now. I went to East 15 acting school in the UK, and then trained at Shakespeare's Globe for the fight choreography, and now I'm out living in LA and, living the dream.
Awesome. So we'll dive right into the questions now, Latanza. So for my very first question, you were actually in 2018, you were actually in a TV miniseries, really incredible, by the way, called Dexter's Jackson's Guide to Dating, and you actually played Susan in that. What was like this whole experience like getting to be in this?
So we're starting there,
We are.
right?
Yep.
Okay. Throwing
Yeah.
it back. Um, yeah, so that was kind of like my first ever time of being on set. Obviously, like I had lived and was working primarily in the UK before that. So, and I did a lot of, theater, just pretty much strictly theater there. And I got an opportunity to perform on a lot of stages, but then switching to that, I was like, this is different. So it was a weird experience, but everybody was so lovely and so nice, and yeah, they made me feel really welcomed, and I got to play. So she was a fun character.
Yes. Awesome. So on to our very next question. So you're actually in a TV series coming out later this year called Demon Hunter, and you play the role of Zara. What can people expect from this role?
Yeah, so she is this mysterious Jinn. Yara is this all-encompassing feminine goddess, energy that she has. Um, and she's also very queer. So you're going to see a lot of, powers and love. And yeah, that was a really fun time, and just got to, explore this like feminine energy, it was awesome. So yeah, I expect to see a lot of that and a lot of good queer content. So
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So what made you decide as a person, and especially as an actress, to get into the whole acting scene in the first place?
wow, it was a long story. I was actually a basketball player. I did that for the majority of my entire life. I was a three-sport athlete in high school, and then I played basketball in college. But right around high school, when I got really, really serious, is when I started to get a lot of injuries. And that was kind of the start of me discovering, like, theater and like playwriting and things, and just kind of dabbling in it, but not really taking it seriously, because in my head, I was going pro. I was gonna be the next like super Diana Taurasi. If they're watching though, I love them.
Yeah.
But then, I got to college and just kept getting injured, and I realized like this wasn't going to go anywhere. And that's when I switched and my major to theater, and I started off again in playwriting because I love to write so much. And then they needed actors, and I was like, okay. And then they're like, oh, well, you're kind of good at this. And I was like, are you sure? And then after that, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I got a concentration in performance, but I wasn't really anything. And then, senior year, I decided, I'm going to pursue this. And I went and got my MFA. I got into East 15 acting school, and I was like, wow. So I went over there, and it has been a ride since then. Yeah. So I'm really
I
happy.
actually love how you said you play basketball. I have to ask, favorite basketball team, and I have to tell you a story of my brother's story. He actually played basketball himself, went to Oregon, tried out for a basketball scholarship in Oregon. Unfortunately, when
Yeah.
COVID hit, he had to come back to Australia, where we're in, and he actually ended up making his own clothing brand called Munted. And so, yeah, it picked up his clothing brand, but unfortunately, yeah, he had to kind of give up basketball because of COVID wise and stuff. So there's a little bit of a backstory about my brother. So yeah,
Yeah, well, tell him to send me some
I
clothes.
definitely will. I definitely will. Well, yeah, favorite basketball team, if I may ask.
Team. So I'm originally from Minnesota. So I am a diehard Minnesota team. So for men, obviously the Timberwolves, women, the Lynx, they've been great. Well, they've been okay these last couple of years. But before that, they had a huge dynasty, like 3 championships. So yeah, I'm definitely all Minnesota. I also love football. So yeah, I'm a huge Vikings fan.
I love that. So on to the very next question. So what would be your like dream role like in TV or film? What would be your dream role?
I love all things like sci-fi, fantasy, and all things period, like historical period work. So anything in that genre, I would be like ecstatic to play, like Bridgerton, or I thought I would always make a really great Klingon for Star Trek. But I think if I had to like put like a dream role on it, I think if I could play Wonder Woman, I think I would be a kick-ass Wonder Woman.
Yes, I would love.
I'm gonna put that out there, put that into the
Yes,
universe.
yes, that's
It's gonna happen.
super.
You heard it here first.
I have to say, super cosplay lover, make it happen. He does incredible fan casting. Super cosplay lover, if you're watching, fan cast that right now, definitely. So on to my very next question for you. So, what would you say to your younger self looking back? Like, what would you say to the younger Latanza looking back at your career?
Ooh, you know, I would just tell myself to trust the process sometimes. Life isn't gonna work out any way that you ever imagined it. And to stop sometimes fighting it, when you're just so stuck in a way that you feel like this is the way that everything needs to go, like this is how my life needs to go, and just open yourself up to it, because it's going to decrease a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of that worry, when you can just really step into what you're meant to be doing freely and openly. So yeah, that's what I would say to my younger self.
So that's our very next question. So, what advice would you give someone wanting to start out in the acting industry? And yeah, what advice would you give someone?
Don't. No. I would say, just kind of what everybody else says. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Things happen over time, and it happens when it's meant to. And everyone has their thing. So just stick to, like, stay strong and grounded and rooted. That's what I meant to say. But like, in who you are, really, because no one has what you have. So really just hold true to that. And you're going to hear literally more no's than you'll ever hear yeses. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm someone who auditions. I got to a point where I was, oh my God, I swear it was like 10 times a week. And it was like no after no after no after no. And you just have to keep going. Stay resilient.
So that's our very next question. So, what are like the positive and negatives into the whole acting industry, and how do you get through those like negative moments as an actress?
I mean, negatives I could go on and on about. I mean, positives is when you get booked, when you finally, especially when I'm talking more TV and film. I think a couple more opportunities, at least for me, happened when I was focusing primarily on theater. But when those moments do happen and you do get booked or you do get cast, those are that's the fun. You put in all that work. That's the fun. And it's time to just get on set or, get on that stage and relish it and really enjoy it, because those moments are, as us working actors, are few and far between. So really cherish that. Obviously that's the positive, and the negative is, yeah, again, those no's, people telling you, well, maybe you should, do your headshots a little more like this. And maybe we see you more like this. Like, stay true to how you see yourself and how you like you know what's going to work. So stay in that. Yeah, and just really don't give up. And sometimes when that negativity hits, you can get really like depressed and down, but you got to say to yourself, like, this is who I am, and I'm going to stay strong in who I am.
So I'm sorry, your last question, Latanza. So what's like next for you, apart from Demon Hunter as Yara? What's like next for you, like goal wise, like that you would like to announce?
Yeah. Well, I will have to say one thing about Demon Hunter is, guys, it's playing at Pride Fest in LA. So guys, everyone go and watch it. We're all super, super ecstatic about that. We got to get our own little Pride Fest. It's so great. But what's next for me is I'm actually all banged up right now. I'm fixing a couple of my old basketball injuries, my hip, and then my knee is next right after that. So I'm kind of laid up for the next couple of months, but I'm not done working. So I actually started kind of writing a show a few months back, and it's going quite well. There's actually a lot of interest in it. So hopefully we're going to see something soon. Like, you're going to see some badass fight choreography, coming to, like, I don't know, Netflix or HBO, so.
That's cool. So I just want to say thank you so much, Latanza. It has been such an incredible pleasure having you on the show today. You have such a good vibe about yourself, and I love that. So everyone, definitely go support Latanza and her amazing acting career. We need more sensational actors like Latanza in this world. Any last final thoughts that you'd like to share to people on the show?
No, guys. Thanks for who's ever watching and supporting. Stay tuned for some Black female fighter content out there. And yeah, again, thank you so much for having me. And don't be a stranger.
Oh, I definitely will.
I'd love to hear from you. Message me anytime.
Yes, definitely will. Thank you so much, Latanza.